Agenda. Do nothings.
All right, we're live on YouTube.
Okay. Hello, Michael. My name is Don Chang and I am co-chair of the Climate Change Mitigation and Adaptation Commission, otherwise known as CCMAC. This is the November 4th meeting of CCMAC and it is 1:06.
I think it's November 6th.
November 6th? Today's November, yeah, November 6th, sorry. Okay, there's just too much going on, November 6th.
There's too much going on.
It's too much going on, okay. Let's see. So I'd like to also introduce our staff, maybe Leah, if you could introduce, so Leah Laramie is our administrator, if you want to introduce your staff.
Hello, everybody. Today in the room, we have Jonathan Lance, who's our equity specialist. We have Bill Unruh, who is our outreach leader. And we have Natalie and Ovena, who is our AmeriCorps Vista. And we have Jen and I think we have Udi. Yeah, Jen and Udi online.
Great, we've got a full house. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you are in our boardroom or on Zoom. The first item on our agenda is roll call. So if we could do a roll call. Let's see, let's first go through with those who are in the room. So Don Chang with DLNR.
Mary Alice Evans with the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development.
Okay. Leah, if you can go around the Zoom and make sure we've got everybody.
Sure. We'll start with Department of Transportation.
Aloha, Laura Ka'akua with Hawaii Department of Transportation.
And folks on Zoom, if you could mention if you are in the room alone or if you have anyone over the age of 18 with you.
I'm in the room alone. Thank you.
Mahalo. And Department of Health.
Hi, good afternoon, Marianne Rossio, sitting for the Department of Health, and I am alone.
Thank you. It's a little bit hard to hear you. We did hear you, but I don't know if you can fix any of
Diana.
the volume there, Marianne.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Mahalo,
Okay.
Marianne.
Great, thank you.
And Department of Ag.
Sharon Hurd, Department of Agriculture, President and alone.
Mahalo. And DBED.
Monique Schaefer, DBED, present and alone.
Hawaii Tourism Authority.
Lindsay Sanborn for Hawaii Tourism Authority, present and alone.
And we also have someone else from HTA joining as well.
I think that's Kalani.
Yeah, Kalani.
Yes, Kalani Ka'ana'ana is here as well, but I will be the designee for HTA.
Yeah, just thought we'd introduce him as well since he's here. Thanks,
Yes,
mahalo for
thank you.
joining, Lindsay and Kalani. County of Kauai, I believe is excused. Coastal Zone Management Program.
Excused.
Oh,
I
no,
think he's here.
Chris is here. Chris Lee.
Yep. Chris Lee here, present and alone.
Mahalo, Chris. Hawaii County.
Good afternoon, Bethany Morrison for Hawaii County, and I am present and alone as well.
Mahalo. And Maui County, I believe is excused. Office of Hawaiian Affairs, I believe is excused. Oh no, Charlotte? Oh no, sorry. Yeah. DHL.
Hi, aloha, Nancy McPherson. I'm thinking Katie will hopefully join us soon, and I am present and alone.
Mahalo. And Haima, I believe is excused. Department of Education, I believe is excused. Senator Gabbard's office.
Yes, hi, this is Meg. I am here on behalf of Senator Gabbard. He has a a majority caucus meeting today at the exact same time, so he couldn't make it. Hi, everyone. Aloha.
And then I believe Senator Noy is excused. Representative Lowen office.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Brown. I'm here for Representative Lowen. I'm alone currently, but she should be hopping on shortly to join us.
And I believe Rep Ichiyama's office is not present.
I see Keith Reagan.
And yes, Keith is here to make an announcement for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Charlotte Brown, Office of Foreign Affairs. Yeah, just
I think Charlotte was
Alyssa Taylor.
Alyssa Taylor is also one of our AmeriCorps Vistas.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Mahalo for joining us, Alyssa.
Hello.
So yeah, if we can do announcements.
Did we miss anybody?
Leah,
Yeah.
Deputy Katie Ducat has joined us.
Oh, I see Katie.
Or I'm sorry, wrong name. My bad.
Aloha. Apologies for being late. Katie Lambert on behalf of DHH.
Lambert. Yeah.
Nope, you're good. You're good.
Hi, this is Noelle Cole. I'm here for City and County of Honolulu.
Oh, mahalo, Nicole.
Did we miss anybody that Leah did not go announce? Okay, so I think, do we have a quorum?
We do.
All right, so we've got a quorum. So do we have any announcements from the commissioners or from guests? Is that you, Keith? Did you have an announcement?
Yeah, whenever you're ready, Chair, just let me know.
Yes. No, yes, please go ahead.
Great, great. I appreciate it. Thank you. I will try to be brief in my announcement, but I regret to inform you that it's going to be, I think it'll be a little lengthy. So let me go ahead and get started.
Okay.
First of all, I wanted to thank you, Chair and Committee, for allowing me to give you an update on a very transformative project that we've undertaken here within the state of Hawaii, which we anticipate will bring a lasting positive impact across numerous clean energy initiatives for both state and local governments throughout Hawaii. As some of you may know, under the leadership of the Biden-Harris administration and with strong support from our Hawaii congressional delegation, the Inflation Reduction Act represents one of the most significant federal policy tools ever introduced.
So for the Kauai EV meeting that we just had on.
I'm muted. There you go. Keep going.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, you know, the IRA represents one of the most significant federal policy tools ever introduced to advance clean energy and sustainability goals across the nation. The IRA offers state and local governments unprecedented access to federal tax credits, direct incentives and elective payments for clean energy projects, infrastructure upgrades, and electric vehicle initiatives. This opportunity is specifically designed to facilitate cleaner, more resilient energy systems while offering financial savings that can then be reinvested back into our communities. In alignment with these goals, Governor Green charged the Department of Accounting and General Services to lead the state's efforts in coordination with the Hawaii State Energy Office, Budget and Finance, and key members of the governor's team to leverage the IRA in order to maximize our investment in Hawaii's clean energy future. This effort is a central component of Governor Green's Clean Energy Initiative, which commits the state to achieve 100% clean energy by 2045. To drive this forward, we have established and launched the Team Energy Program, which is dedicated to identifying eligible projects, calculating tax incentives, and managing IRS filings to secure essential funding through the IRA. Through this Team Energy project and program, we've organized educational briefings to inform and collaborate with state agencies and local government partners, such as our city and county partners across Hawaii, ensuring that all parties are aware of the benefits and the requirements involved in taking advantage of those tax credits. Additionally, we've partnered with a local CPA firm, Spire, who some of you may have worked with or may have be familiar with them. They're very knowledgeable and skilled, and so we're fortunate to have them on board as a partner. But they're going to help us by providing expertise and technical support to our state agencies as well as our county and city partners. So we're very excited about having them on board to help move this forward and take some of that burden off of the departments as well as the counties to be able to take advantage of these tax credits. This initiative is not just about launching isolated clean energy projects, but it's also about weaving clean energy technologies into the fabric of state and local government efforts. And so we're just very excited about this opportunity, Chair. We wanted to share that with the committee. This is a big move forward for the state of Hawaii, and we're just very excited about serving as that resource to be able to help address some of the needs as we go forward. So thank you very much, Chair, for this opportunity to share this really important initiative.
And thank you so much, Keith. I participated in one of your educational briefings this morning, Ron and his team. So thank you very much. I know that you will be having more educational briefings. If you wanted us, to distribute that invitation or, let you know if there's others who may be interested in attending, we can do that to our membership.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Chair. So for now, we're limiting it to
I see.
state agencies, departments, agencies, state, within
Okay.
that realm, and then also with the city and the counties for now. We're trying to see in terms of how much lift it's going to require for us to be able to support them. And then if we can also incorporate beyond that to be able to support like nonprofits as an example, then we may ask you to go ahead and send out that information as well, Chair. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much. So what we'll do is, if and when you may be ready to have a broader distribution, you can coordinate directly with Leah, who's got all of our members' contacts. So, but thank you so much for taking the time to provide us that update. I know there were some good questions this morning's meeting, in particular about electric vehicles. So, thank you for the announcement.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair. Have a wonderful meeting. I have
Thank
to.
you very
For
much.
joining.
Okay, thank you. Before Keith leaves, does anybody have any questions of Keith? Okay, Keith, you should run while you can. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here.
So, just want to acknowledge Joshua Cooper here for
Okay.
County of Maui.
Oh, very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Joshua. So we're going to take the next item on the agenda. It's going to be the approval of the minutes. And then after that, we've had a request to move up agenda item 6, review and approval of the CCMAC annual report. But before doing that, I'd like to get any questions regarding the approval of the minutes of September 2nd, 2024. You should have gotten a copy of that.
And I'll just note, mahalo again, Nancy McPherson, for your edits. The new clean copy is available on the website with the updated.
Okay. Are there any questions or additional comments on the draft minutes? Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a second? I am going to abstain from voting on this because I was not present at that meeting. So is there anybody on Zoom that'd like to do a second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. That's Lindsay. Thank you, Lindsay. So motion has been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of September 2nd, 2024. All in favor, can you raise your hand or? Okay, raise your hand. All right. Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. We're now going to move on to there's been a request to move up to agenda item 6, review and approval of the CCMAC annual report. It is an action item. So Leo, could you provide us information on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Mahalo, everybody who has had a chance to look at the annual report. I know there was a lot of tasks between the last meeting and this one, so you may not have all had a chance to look at it. I know there are a few edits that have been made since you folks were sent a copy. But one of the things I wanted to point out is that the section on commission actions is a little light this year, largely because we have not been taking time to do updates, which is usually how we populate that section. So I know we're planning on doing some updates today and hopefully that's how we can continue to fill it out. But if you folks didn't have a chance to do an update or, would like some time to provide us a written update, we can definitely include that in that section there. Yeah, any questions on the annual report or comments?
Don't be shy. I hope you've had a chance to, when are we going to submit this to the ledge?
It's due 20 days before the legislature starts, so we have a little bit of time to continue to revise it. And yeah, just hoping that if folks, what we did last year is we approved it on the condition that some changes would be made. So if folks would like to see changes, and it could be, we'd just like to see additional information in the commissioner section or what have you. We're very open to any comments or corrections that folks have. So even if you have changes that you'd like to see, we can still kind of approve it as long as we make those changes after the fact.
Commissioners, do you have any comments, changes, edits? I hope you've had an opportunity to review it. There's some really good information in the annual report. I did have a few changes that I shared with Leah regarding the co-commissioner, the co-chair's statement. But Laura, did you have did you want to raise your hand?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We do have, or I expect a couple edits in that small paragraph section about Department of Transportation, but we'll get those into you, Leah. So I'm fine approving with the condition that we can make those small edits later. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Sharon, Chair Hurd.
Thank you, Chair. My edit is only a housekeeping edit that Major General Kenneth Harp did retire. And so I'm sure Leah already knows that, but that and Senator Inouye's name is misspelled.
Oh,
used to be a proofreader. I said it's a curse.
Thank you for that.
And that's just minor stuff, but important. Thank you.
Very important, and mahalo for that. I think we also had some changeover at CZM as well. So definitely appreciate those highlighted.
Whose hand is up? Is Monique, is your hand up?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Monique.
Just echoing Laura's and Chair Hurd's comments, we have probably a few minor edits for the section, the paragraph on the Department of Business and Economic Development. So okay to approve with the note that there's a few edits that we'll have.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing no hands, seeing no further comments. Do I have a motion to approve subject to these hopefully non-substantive comments from the various divisions or departments?
So moved.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Do I have a second? Laura,
I'll
was that
second.
you seconding? Okay. I thought you were going to second, Laura. Thank you so much. A motion has been moved and seconded to approve the annual report of 2024 with some additional comments from the various departments. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, or raise your hand. Okay. Any opposed? Seeing or hearing no opposition, the motion passes unanimously. If you can try to get your edits into us, Leah, when would you like them?
2 weeks.
Okay, in 2 weeks. And then we will send out a final clean copy before we forward it to the ledge. All right, everyone? Okay, thank you so much. All right, we'll go back to the agenda. We'll do agenda item number 3, commission member updates on climate change and mitigation and adaptation. It's a non-action item. Leah, do you want to lead us in that?
Yeah, sure. So hopefully you folks got the note that I would be asking for some updates from you folks, partially to populate this section, partially just because we haven't heard from you in a while, and it's just great to hear all the amazing work that you folks have been up to. So I'll just go down the list, and if there are no updates, no worries. But we just want to make sure we give everyone a chance to comment. So we'll start in the order that we started with earlier. So Marianne?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Let's see, I have a couple updates. Our contractor submitted the draft for the 2022 statewide and county greenhouse gas emissions inventory, along with updates for the prior years. They're working on future projections scheduled to be submitted in November. And the final 2022 report is expected in March of 2020, of this coming year, 2025. CAB is also, Clean Air Branch is also working on a request for proposals for a 2-year contract for new 2023, 24, and 25 greenhouse gas emissions inventory. And we expect that to have that out early next year. And then I have a couple of updates from Diana Felton. So the department hosted its inaugural 2-day climate change and health conference on October 23rd and 24th, bringing over 125 participants to explore complex ways climate change affects human health. It included attendees from DOH and partners from public health, emergency response, and climate resiliency sectors. Key topics covered heat-related illness, water quality, vector-borne disease, food system impacts, mental health, and severe weather events. Summaries and presentation slides from each section is available or will be available this week at the DOH Climate and Health portal. And in addition, DOH and its county partners recently concluded the 2024 Heat Awareness Campaign. Collaborating with each county's resilience program, campaign shared over 7 social media posts providing essential heat safety information tailored to Hawaii's diverse and vulnerable populations such as kupuna, keiki, individuals with disabilities, as well as tips for high humidity and outdoor workers. And then there's a trifold and PDFs of each of the social media posts that also can be found on the DOH Climate Change and Health portal under Health Safety Tips. They're gearing up for the next campaign, which will focus on climate change and mental health. And that's my updates. Thank you.
Mahalo, Marianne. Any questions, Marianne? Department of Health. And then Chair Hurd.
No updates, except that we're still working on the hazard mitigation climate change grant. I've mentioned this more than once at this meeting, and excuse me, but it's important because of the HECO PSPS, public safety power shutoff program, probably, exacerbated by climate change, all these weather events. So I guess what I'm saying is if anyone out there in another state department has systems that need power, this might be a good grant to go after. It's called the Hazard Mitigation Climate Change Grant. We're using our grant for, our proposal is to buy generators to keep our irrigation systems pumping and food hubs running with electricity when there is a PSPS potential shutoff. Thank you.
Sharon. Any questions? All right, Deeped, Monique.
Yeah, just a few updates out of the energy office primarily. So we are working on actively and aim to finish a energy strategy, focusing on the electric sector by December. So stay tuned for that. Energy efficiency, there's a lot happening in the world of energy efficiency through the IRA grant. So we have about $68 million in federal funding coming our way for the Homes and Here initiatives, working on full energy efficiency rebates for eligible residents to lower their overall energy use and save on their bills. So actively negotiating those funds with Department of Energy as we speak. And I do believe we have announced our selected contractor to help with those funds. So at least for the first half, the first 34 million for the home electrification and appliance rebate program. Other things in energy efficiency, we received 18 million from Department of Energy for building performance standards. So again, that focus is on energy efficiency through codes and retrofits. So those two programs pair nicely. Still working on geothermal exploration with funds received by the state, but really trying to do that, enhance step in step with community. And it's definitely a priority, but we are, very sensitive. Continuing work on diesel replacement initiatives, and a lot happening at the energy office in the world of mitigation.
Right.
Mahalo, any questions? All right, HTA Lindsay or Kalani?
Yeah, so not necessarily what we're reporting for mitigation. We don't really have any direct control over the convention center where we're located or the hotels, but pretty much advocating for energy efficiency, continuing to do so, cleaner transportation and options. One way that we can do that is we partner with Kilohana on the curator program, where there is a environmental badge, that they have to obtain. And to obtain that, they have to demonstrate efforts to reduce waste, carbon emissions, and conserve water and utilize renewable energy sources.
That's amazing. Mahalo, Lindsay. I have a question, if that's okay. Just wondering, Lindsay, and do you know if you folks collaborate with Energy Office and act as a liaison for hotels to benefit from energy efficiency programs or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of, but I can definitely try and see, Monique, with you if there's anything that somebody had worked prior.
Yeah, I can say through the Green Business Program.
Oh, yes.
Gail leads those efforts and does a lot through the Green Business Program, which is through our office.
Mm-hmm.
Great, wonderful. All right. Any other questions for HTA? Chair Evans? Christie? Christie? Anything from you folks that you wanted to share?
I'll defer to Chris Liu, our coastal zone management branch manager.
Great. Chris?
I was gonna defer to Mary Alice since I would say I've recently joined. This is my third week, so sorry I don't have the background on all of this, but I'm listening and looking forward to participating moving forward.
Mahalo both.
Then in that case, I'll report on the Act 178 project, which is a legislative initiative to ask the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development to work with all the state agencies on their facilities that may be at risk from sea level rise and other hazards, coastal hazards. And this is fits in perfectly with our ocean ORMP resilience management plan, which we work with all of the 4 counties and the state agencies on. And we are at the point where we are developing a standardized risk assessment tool that the state agencies can use to determine when they need to pull the trigger on asking for CIP funds for either protective measures or possibly in the out years, moving the facility, relocating it away from the risk areas.
So that's one project we're working on.
Oh, man. Yeah, Amy and I just had a chance to meet with your team and the contractors today with some DLNR folks. We had some folks from Dobar and State Parks.
Great.
So it was a great conversation. I think, we all kind of understand that, facilities can mean so many different things, right? There could be buildings or it could be docks and it could be piers and parking lots and all of the attached utilities with that, as well as the natural infrastructure, right? There's a lot of beaches that are being impacted that are leading to other facilities on shores being impacted. So we need to go back to the legislature and ask them to open up that scope so we can look at this more holistically, because there's a lot of challenges there. But it was great talking to your team, and I think really wonderful to have that support. Any questions for CCM or OPSD? All right, Hawaii County, Bethany.
Aloha. I guess first, just to address, we have an upcoming change in administration. And so obviously we'll be working on our transition plan for that to be a smooth and successful process. And then in other news, we have our County Integrated Climate Action Plan progress report and dashboard that we have a draft for, which is pretty exciting to finally be able to report out on implementation. And of that, 36% is either completed or ongoing out of our actions. So that's just really exciting after 1 year of implementation. And then let's see what else. Our general plan, which has significant climate change policy direction in it. The draft is going through the adoption process and has started hearings with our Windward Planning Commission so far. So that progress will be ongoing. Thank you.
Okay. Which one and who's next?
Now we have Joshua Cooper from Maui.
Go ahead, Josh.
Aloha, good to see everyone. We're continuing with our Mayor Sustainability Speaker Series, and we're excited to have a leader from the Maori people in Aotearoa. That will be next week, Tuesday, and it'll be focusing on ecological ethics. And then next month, we're so excited to have Leah Laramie. She'll be coming and talking about the year of climate action and all the things that we could do in the critical decade coming up. So we're very excited for those two things to conclude our year. We're also continuing our sustainable development goals short film series, and we have a couple of films from HIF that we're showing for free next week and this Friday. And then also before the couple of things we could announce, before the invitational tournament that happens at Maui near the Thanksgiving holidays, we're actually working and continuing our partnership with the airport, and we'll be planting native trees there and also putting a lot of signs to explain about our larger project, the Maui Nui Million Native Tree Pledge, and how that's coming along. So those steps are moving along to green our airport, as well as our water app will be up by the end of this month, where people can, when they land on Maui, find out where they can fill up their reusable water bottles and no longer have to purchase plastic bottles on Maui. So those are just some of the things, and great to participate and look forward to doing more together. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Joshua. Any questions for Maui? I'm excited about the filling stations. DOT, Laura?
Hi, everyone. I'll just highlight hopefully just a few. In highways, we met with all of the counties, bike and pedestrian folks to work on maps per island that show the existing and proposed pedestrian and bike paths, and to note the gaps within the network so that we can hopefully fill those gaps together over the next 5 years. Next, we'll be reaching out to the counties, their transit leads to map the transit networks and pinpoint gaps in the transit network. We've opened some public electric vehicle charging stations. The most recent was at Aloha Tower, I think just last week. And we have more public charging stations calendared to be opened in the coming months and year. We received a large grant, or I guess 2 large grants from the EPA to support our ongoing climate adaptation and air quality monitoring efforts. So 56.7 million to purchase hydrogen fueled tractors for use in the Sand Island Container Terminal and to construct a hydrogen fueling facility in Honolulu Harbor. And then a $2.5 million grant to complete an air emissions inventory baseline study for ocean-going vehicles, hovercraft, and cargo handling equipment in our 9 commercial ports. And we are continuing the accreditation process for the 5 large airports statewide to Airport Carbon Accreditation Level 3. And I'll stop there. Lots going on in all modes.
Yeah, that's great. Would you mind explaining what level 3 means?
That was the question I was hoping I wouldn't get. I really
I retract the question and we will look into that.
Yeah, I'm happy to provide an update at a future meeting though, maybe even directly from airports.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Leah.
Mahalo.
Probably Monique could give a quick.
I know, I was gonna ask, but then I don't know if it's
But
fair.
it's a fast charging station, so it's direct current rather than alternating.
Oh, no, not the level 3 charger, the level 3 airport designation.
Oh.
Yeah, I know the level 3 chargers. Yeah, thank you though. Wonderful. Mahalo, Laura. Any other questions for DOT? All right. DHL, Katie?
I'm sorry, Leah, I forgot something that might be timely for the commission in case anyone wanted to assist getting the word out. We did put out applications for our Hawaii Youth Transportation Council, and those applications are open until November 25th. And we'll be participating at the Climate Forum happening on November 16th at the Capitol. So hopefully we'll get some interest there from youth. We're looking for youth from all islands, and we're targeting January 3rd as our first meeting. So happy to maybe share a flyer to Leah after the meeting if folks are open to posting it around on social media. Thank you.
Yes, please. I know our November newsletter hasn't gone out yet, so we can add that in. Yeah, mahalo. And then also, I know you folks have been supporting the Safe Routes to Schools Council and initiative that the commission is a part of. So that's been really great to see that moving and seeing money going to, potentially going to some really cool projects. So thanks for all your awesome actions. Yeah, Katie and Nancy.
Yeah, I will actually ask Nancy if there's anything. I apologize. I don't believe we have any big updates, but we do have a lot of initiatives coming up in the next year that I can share. And Nancy, you can let me know if there's anything else. So DHHL's general plan update was approved. The final general plan was approved in December 2022, but we are completing metrics for annual report to the Hawaiian Homes Commission on implementation. That will be coming up. We do have energy and climate change equity and environmental economic justice issues that we're always aware of and have ongoing participation in state and county efforts to gather information and prioritize equity issues for Native Hawaiians. We are participating in the Act 178 initiative. We're actually very excited about that because we are actually coincidentally in the process of already updating our aging motor vehicle fleets that I'm aware of. We want to definitely take advantage of any opportunities we have to update our building facility with PV. We have had a long time plan for some PV paneling in our parking lot. We're out here in Kapolei, and it just makes so much sense. So we're trying to move on that. We are definitely trying to incorporate mitigation and hazard types of resiliency into our planning. We did have a 2-day wildfire symposium for our homestead associations to try to help them with some resources to plan for those types of events in the future. And we are definitely have as a priority in this upcoming session, cesspool conversions. A lot of our homesteads are in areas where cesspools need to be converted or upgraded and tied in. So that is a big priority for us in this upcoming legislative session, and also in trying to pursue federal funding to help us leverage that kind of cost, which will affect our leases so on an individual basis. And we are also in this upcoming legislative session trying to again get additional funding for pursuing geothermal resources that we feel would benefit our homesteads at large, as well as our beneficiaries.
I have a question on that.
Yeah.
Can I go?
Of course.
Oh, Katie, are you, when you say the geothermal would benefit your homesteads at large, are you thinking of a multi-island microgrid that would direct that geothermal only to homestead communities?
No, basically, if we are able to do such a project, the income revenue generating potential is what I'm actually talking about, right? So we have lands that are maybe not suitable for homesteading, but if we can get them to be used to their highest and best use commercially, that benefits our homesteading program, because then we take those revenue and we put them into our developments for homesteading.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. I appreciate that.
Nancy, did you have anything you wanted to add? Okay. Well, thank you. Any other questions for Katie? And just,
Really quick, sorry.
Yeah. No, go
this
ahead.
is Monique from the State Energy Office. I just had to make the comment. We're not looking at any inter-island transmission. That's really hard and really expensive. So it's not really in any of our current energy plans.
Mahalo for that clarification, Monique. And I know that DHHL has also really taken resiliency and sea level rise very seriously and shifted and adjusted plans. So yeah, it's great to see that we're all kind of being very active in mitigation and adaptation. Okay, I think we have next.
Oh, I've Michael.
Yeah, come join us.
Hey, thank you, Leah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Michael.
So, for everybody online, Michael Kane, Office of Conservation and Coastal Lands, part of Department of Land and Natural Resources. We've been advocating for a couple of years to move towards adaptation planning in our response to climate change and sea level rise. With that, our Coastal Lands Program is developing a number of projects to increase resilience to coastal erosion through partnerships with various nonprofits and other state and county agencies. Projects we have going on right now through, again, coastal restoration and beach restoration. We're working with Kaho'olawe to expand their dune restoration program. If I can just, what they found when they replace invasive plants with native dune species is that a dune starts to form that's robust. They still have erosion events, but the dune recovers faster. They find that a second dune is forming behind it naturally. And they find that turtles will nest in native species, whereas they won't nest.
Interesting.
So they've done one area and we're using part of our beach fund to help them expand the program. That's one. We've entered a partnership with county parks in Honolulu to do some dune restoration at Kailua Beach Park. They're experiencing significant erosion. There's ironwoods that are at danger of falling onto beachgoers. And a lot of the sand is being lost and just being blown into the parking lot. So we had a really good meeting with state parks is complicated, not county parks is complicated. There's a lot of divisions, but we brought everyone together and we hope to be moving forward with that soon. And we're working with state parks in Limahuli on Kauai to again do some dune restoration on the North Shore of Kauai. And we are finally looking to partner with Sea Grant to set up a dune restoration program. Bringing some staff on through them, and that would allow us to fund projects that nonprofits are running. That's always been a challenge with us. We can transfer, we can assist other government agencies, but it's been hard to get money to the nonprofits. Finally, since I have so many people online, we still have funds this fiscal year. We don't have capacity to run projects or start new ones, but if you have existing projects that need a bump, Dawn knows how to get a hold of me. So does Leah.
No money stays on the table. Spend it all.
That's my goal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you.
And I know there was also several $1 million going to watershed restoration as well.
Is it on the Maui project?
I believe I just saw that his DLNR was awarded, so I'm not sure the specifics, but I saw some news on that. So congratulations.
No. I think that was a project that Laura, you worked with it was the NOAA project. Is that the one you were thinking of?
Oh, there was no part, but there's additional funding.
Oh,
for
yes, no,
additional-
that was the one that came from the federal government.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I think there was approximately $42 million that was awarded to DOFA for watershed management. And then I think an additional 42 million or similar amount to, I think it's called terraformation on Hawaii Island for planting of trees. But yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very exciting.
Thank you.
City and county, Noel? Are you still there? You popped off. I don't see Noel anymore. All right. Sorry, Noel, we're missing you. Meg, anything from Senator Gabbard's office?
Yes, just a couple quick things. He has been outreaching to constituents and stakeholders. We sent out almost 50 requests between agriculture and environment for stakeholder priorities. So if there's anyone here in this meeting who would like to email him with your priorities, now's the time. We're still compiling that list and that will help inform his priorities. His email is sencapital@capital.hawaii.gov. And he'll also be co-sponsoring along with Rep. Lowen and Rep. Russo, the Youth Climate Forum on November 16th. So a lot going on, but nothing specific to report in terms of legislation at this time. But thank you for all of you for sharing, and I'll definitely be able to report back to him some of, a summary of the requests and whatnot.
Meg. And Charlotte, anything from Rep. Lowen?
And if there's any questions, I can also bring them back to him.
Thank you. And I can definitely share Senator Gabbard's email if anybody didn't catch that.
Great.
Thanks.
Yeah, my update is similar to Meg's. We have the Youth Climate Summit, and that's coming up on the 16th of November. As for legislative updates, we're still working on them, but I know Rep. Lowen is looking to have more legislation for EV charging infrastructure this year and cesspools again. So we'll make sure to keep you updated on that. And I will give her all of my meeting notes from today as well.
Mahalo, Shiloh. Any questions? And sorry, I didn't provide opportunity to ask questions from DLNR. All right, anyone that I missed? Well, thank you everybody so much. Today of all days, it's really inspirational to be hearing from all of you, so
Yeah.
mahalo.
Are we gonna, is that gonna be included? Are we either including it in our minutes or part of our annual report?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
include all those updates absolutely in our minutes, and then
Okay.
we'll digest what we got to include in our report and make sure that we send it back to you for ultimate review.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, are there any other questions or on any of the updates? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to agenda item number 4, overview of year of climate action, themes and activities. This is just information only, a non-action item. Leo?
Mahalo. All right. Let's try to go in a presentation mode, which is always why not let me present. All right, 1 second. I think because I didn't share my screen. Okay, there we go. Okay, we've shared this before with you folks, but wanted to get into a little bit more details. Next year, we are working with the governor's office to proclaim it the year of climate action, tagline catalyzing change in the critical decade. So as many of you know, the critical decade was identified by the United Nations as the 2020s, 2020 to 2030. And this is the decade where we need to take climate action to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. So we, as you folks all know, you submitted some great work that we'll go over in our next agenda item. But this is really our communications and awareness building prong of our 2-prong of year of climate action, one which is implementation and policy, and one which is awareness and communications. So yeah, our strategy is really to build awareness, connect to community, promote individual action. So encourage folks to take individual actions, and collaboration with partners. So that's, you know, obviously internally with CCMAC, but also with our nonprofit and community partners, businesses, and others. As part of the year of climate action, we're looking at having monthly events, which include things such as educational talks, working on having a bike show, kind of like a car show, to encourage folks to hop on a bike and ride safely to their destinations. We are also sponsoring our Artists in Residence program, and we'll be having a art show in September, I believe, displaying the art that the Artists in Residence come up with. We're planning on having community climate fairs on as many islands as will have us. We had some this year, and previous year, they've been really great success at being able to go where communities are at, to be able to talk about climate change. And Bill will talk a little bit more about that later. And then also, you know, having partner events fall under the umbrella of Year of Climate Action. So we've already started initial conversations with some partners. If you know some partner agencies that you'd love to be involved in this, please let us know. But, you know, we'll put together a form, so if people would like their event to be part of the Year of Climate Action, they can fill that in. We'll kind of approve it, and then they can use our logo that we are hopefully going to come up with in the next little bit.
Are those events going to be posted on our calendar as well?
Absolutely, yes. So we have a calendar of events on our website, and we will be highlighting all of the events that we typically do, but also having like extra bold, special Year of Climate Action borders for those that are part of it. And here is in detail. This has changed since some of you folks have seen it. And so what we have here is we're having monthly categories. What we are what our intent was with this was to identify the categories in ways that folks could connect to the topics. So instead of having, you know, mitigation and decarbonization and adaptation, things that, you know, maybe are a little bit more abstract to people, really talk about climate change in ways that impact individuals. So we're talking about equity, affordability, health, water, INA, food, what have you. And then our intention is for each month to have a weekly focus area, which will largely be a social media campaign, just kind of identifying various topics. So let's say resilience, we're going to be talking about sea level rise. We're going to be talking about wildfires. We'll talk about also potentially insurance and how climate disasters have increased the cost of insurance. So we'll just have, you know, a few social media posts in there. What we're really hoping is that we can partner with you folks on areas that you really connect with and the spaces that you're working in to also highlight the work that you folks are doing. So as part of the exercise that you folks submitting your climate actions will help to kind of identify where those fall in and then try to work with you to highlight those amazing work that you folks are doing. We'll also be, again, partnering with other partners and hoping to have them kind of host and help us develop some of these. I know, for example, Department of Health is going to kind of take on August as part of that. So if anyone's interested in a specific area, I will be reaching out to you, but if anything's catching your eye here, please let us know. We have switched things around. We're trying to kind of keep these months so that people can kind of see what they are. But if there are anything that you folks really feel, you know, are misplaced, please let us know. And I will also share, actually, the focus areas are quite flexible. This is just going to kind of give you an idea of like what they could be. But definitely if you're like, hey, I really have something that I'd like to talk about in water, it wasn't in your focus area, please let us know and we will, we can add that on or we can talk about how to engage on that.
I love the graphics. It's very bright and how do you say, enticing, or it calls you to it. So thank you for that. Since Chair Hurd is no longer on the call, on the line, we're going to volunteer DOA for October. That's what happens when you, no, but I like the idea. It's, if we can get, you know, departments or counties or various agencies, NGOs to take on some of these different activities per month, that would be really nice. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Right. And I just give a shout out to Natalie who created this graphic.
Oh, good job, Natalie.
Yeah.
I like it.
So it was really, really wonderful.
Can you do a calendar? We should do a calendar.
Oh, like an actual.
Yeah, like an actual
calendar.
calendar.
Oh, that's a fun idea.
Yeah.
Oh, we probably could. Get up.
And each one of our members will take a handful.
Yeah, that'd be great. Definitely do that. All right. Any questions from folks on this? Great. Well, that's all then.
Okay. So we are expecting each department and agency to take on at least 1 month.
Or at least 1 week within.
Or at least 1 week.
Yeah.
I'm just half joking. I'm looking at, okay, well, Adil and I could fit in several of those, but yeah.
Yeah,
thank
I've already
you.
got you tagged for INA and
Yeah,
water.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for you and your team doing this. Okay. Any questions, commissioners, on the topic of Year of Climate Action Themes and Activities? Yeah, no, I really would encourage you to get a calendar out. That would be, you know, if we can distribute them to DOE and get them involved, but this is great. I like it. Okay. All right, seeing no questions, let's move on, which is almost next to the last, oh no, not quite. Agenda item number 5, discussion of CCMAC actions.
Okay. Well, just first of all, huge mahalo to all of you for working on this. I know I've gotten a lot of emails and phone calls, kind of, you know, saying like we're working on it, and I think that's really the intention is we want folks to take their time in being able to really identify, and I really do appreciate that folks are taking their time to really dig into this, work with, you know, I know a lot of you have a lot of different divisions and offices, so really just appreciate all of your work and efforts into getting us or being thoughtful about this year of climate action and how you all can participate. What we have here is just what we have so far. So there's still more coming in. And I do also appreciate that there's been some change in leadership in certain offices, so we haven't gotten them all. So this is just who we've gotten from so far. And if I missed you on here, I'm so sorry. But I probably do have it. I just haven't updated this graphic. So this is just showing, we asked 5 categories from each of the commission members on how they're going to be engaging in the year of climate action. We asked them about any mitigation projects they have, any adaptation initiatives, how they're going to be working with equity and Indigenous knowledge, doing outreach and education and collaboration. So this kind of just shows where efforts have been focused right now. So we primarily have a lot of mitigation and adaptation, which makes sense for the Mitigation Adaptation Commission. But, you know, also some great collaboration and educational opportunities. And I just also wanted to show this to folks in case they were, you know, concerned with, you know, one area being stronger than the other and wanted to submit more actions. You know, we're always happy to take new submissions. But this has been really great. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you folks is, as you're been putting these together, you know, do we want to go step outside the commission? So there's some folks that do not fall under the commission, but like DAGS, for example, who's we just heard the update from, who's doing some amazing stuff. Should we reach out to them? Perhaps other state agencies that would be great to include in this initiative. Yeah, maybe I'll just stop there.
No, I think between Mary Alice and I'm sure we could do a call out or a kahea out to all the other agencies. You know, we've kind of just focused on those who are members of the commission, but I think we'd be surprised, like DAGS, that there are other departments and agencies that are doing. I'd be really interested to see, DOE and all the work that they're doing, but Parks and Recreation, the city. So maybe there are other departments and agencies that we can at least refer them to you, and then you can follow up with this. But it would be very encouraging, I think, for the public to see how government is actually participating in year of the climate action and what exactly we're doing. And I like the whole notion we can look at metrics so that people can begin to quantify. Are we, you know, being successful? Are we really doing something about climate? So, yeah, I think maybe between Mary Alice and if there's anybody else, also commissioners, if there's others that aren't included in this, please let Leah know and she can reach out to them. But yeah, if we can try to get all government agencies involved in this. And, you know, one that we haven't really focused on is also the federal government. I would suspect that they're doing some things too, or if they're not, they should be doing some things, but that might be another consideration that we should think about. So how, again, showing the general public how government is really taking climate action very seriously in what we're doing. So those are my thoughts.
I agree.
Okay, so we'll at least work on maybe between the cabinet members, all the departments. Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And then my next question was, how would you folks like us to share these initiatives? I, know that you were sending them directly to me, so I want to make sure that I work with you folks on before we publish anything publicly. I think it's really important that we do share this because it's really amazing the work that you folks are all doing. So just seeing if folks have any ideas and how they think we could best engage with communities with this information.
Good point. Does anybody have any suggestions or thoughts about how do we distribute or share this information? I mean, I think all of our departments have websites, and maybe we can post that on all of our websites, so that anybody who goes to look at, deal on our website, there's a menu that they can click on and see what everybody's doing. We might also want to work with the governor's office, as well as, their comms divisions, all of the, including the counties too, that there may be a broader distribution by government agencies on our natural communication strategy. But if we can get our communications people involved in broadly distributing and so that we can share the good works of what government is doing in response to climate. Thoughts? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else has got any other ideas? I just find too, the more we engage our youth, in particular children, they tend to take that to their parents. So if there's some way that we can, work, also encourage DOE to be part of this distribution. I'm sure they must all have some curriculum on climate. I'm assuming so, but maybe we can reach out to Keith Hayashi about this. Okay. All right.
Monique, you have your hand up?
Yeah, just one comment. For the metrics in particular, I think this is the first year that we're kind of getting both qualitative and quantitative data, but it might be nice, as you comb through probably the plethora of reports you're getting, if there's any common metrics across departments, so we can start aggregating them and making it so there's like almost similar to how like the Aloha Plus goals has a scorecard. It might be nice if there's other scores that need to be, calculated, or, I see average fuel use on there. That's something we have a hard time getting. So if there's metrics that can be reported and standardized, I think that would be really great.
Mahalo, Monique.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and great segue to, how to display the metrics is, is this something that folks think the Aloha Plus scorecard would be a great place where we do that, or we want to keep it on our website, so that we're kind of keeping it as an independent initiative. Any thoughts on that? Yeah, Laura?
Yeah, just I think if people wanted to use the Aloha Plus scorecard, then the exercise might be just going through all of our annual goals and making sure that there's a home for them or a correlating place. I think that there might be some missing metrics that the departments are working towards that wouldn't be captured on the scorecard. So that might just take some work to work with the Aloha Plus organizers to expand those metrics if we wanted that to be the place where we all shared our data.
Mahalo, Laura, and definitely that was somewhere where I know there's metrics at. So we can also probably pretty easily build something on our website if that's what folks prefer.
I like the independent on our website.
Meg?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm not sure if this is how this would tie in or if it ties in, but James McCallan is heading up this new, I don't know, I think it's kind of new outreach. You guys have probably heard of it, the impacts of climate change on human health in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And they've been going around to different communities. I think their first listening, they call them listening sessions. I'm aware, the reason I know about it, because they had the first one in Kapolei, so I attended on Senator's behalf. At any rate, he might be a good person to connect with in terms of, getting information out to communities and vice, getting impact, information from the communities. So on how health is impacting climate change is impacting their health. So anyway, just a thought.
Yeah, thank you, Megan. Yeah, we're definitely coordinating with James and his climate and health hui and those things. But yeah, it's a great flag. Mahalo.
Great. I figured you were, so that's great.
Yeah, always great. Mahalo, everybody. Any other thoughts on hosting independently versus integrating? Okay. Yeah, well, thank you again to everybody who has been working on and continues to work on your actions. I think I'd rather us be really thoughtful and thorough in putting together actions than having it ready and done. So as you build those lists, we can continue to build out our website and stuff, so we can be as flexible as you folks need to be. And also just really want to give a big mahalo to those who submitted. And I said, hey, what about these other things? And you're open to those suggestions. So it's been really great working on this. And I've been really, really excited by the engagement that we've gotten on this. So next steps is we'll be working on a summary of the actions. So this is kind of like how we can display them, trying to also identify opportunities for collaboration on the actions. So, seeing where there's some overlap in some of the work that you folks are doing. So I think that also speaks to like the metrics as well, and where we can kind of have similar tracking. And we'll also identify how to develop the metrics and represent them in a way that's interesting and simple and makes it, and that we're tracking things without too much data collection from an extra work on your folks' side. We'll also be connecting the actions to the community engagement that we were talking about before with the 12 months of different actions. So seeing where these fall in and then trying to connect with you folks to see how we can communicate that to community partners. And then also just seeing how we can leverage all this for catalyzing future action, because, this is really, again, our tagline, catalyzing change in the critical decade, is we know that we need more than just a year of action. And this is really just our platform and our springboard to make sure that we continue this on to the future. Okay. All right. That's it for me.
Is there any questions that you have of Lynn or team on this agenda item, the CCMAC actions? Okay, seeing none. The next agenda item is number 7, update on climate action pathways.
All right, and I will pass it over to Udi as I pick up the screen.
Aloha, everyone. Great to be here. And great to hear all these amazing actions that you're doing, especially today, to hear all these amazing, inspiring initiatives across all these different agencies and the counties. So I presented a little something a few months ago that was the plan of the method that we are going to be approaching for the development of the climate action pathway. And so I just wanted to give you some updates of some things that have been happening over the last few months around this. So part of the methodology was to engage with different kind of communities, constituencies, in terms of technical working groups and stakeholder meetings, equity group, as well as some outreach of how we have the input from the community in multiple ways to inform the actions that we are orienting and putting in this climate action pathway. So I wanted to share a little bit about here, and then my colleague Bill will share a little bit about the community engagement and outreach as well. But the idea of these working groups is really to identify the actions, the policies, the projects, the practices that can be taken across different sectors, but in the state, in county, for businesses, for organizations, for communities, persons, and Ohana. So we've started meeting with a few sectors recently, had several meetings already, and I've listed the ones over here on the ones that have taken place already. And in brackets, you can see the participants on each of them. And they primarily have been with folks from the counties. So thank you all from the counties for participating there, and also from different state agencies and offices. And for some of them, we've also been engaging with different community, nonprofit organizations, especially. So you can see we've had some really interesting meetings there with the buildings, energy efficiency, decarbonization sector. There was one focusing on buying green. There's the working group on material management and landfill. So we'll talk about waste and material management. We also met with on the topic of the farming, ranching, food system decarbonization there. We've had a couple of really interesting meetings too with this working group focused on the circular economy as well. So going away from this idea of a linear economy and linear use of resources to how do we harness more and create a more circular use in our economy, and also working with different Hawaiian practices of land management and the sharing economy and the solidarity economy as well. And then we've also met with we'll call it the equity hearing to have different ways in which the theme of equity and environmental justice are also key to inform the policies and the orientation in this climate action pathway. And some of the key takeaways so far that I wanted to share with you all here today. One thing that's been quite universal across these different sectors is the need for mapping of roles, responsibilities, and actions across the state, counties, and other organizations. So there's been a real need and an appreciation when we've begun to do it of really identifying more closely, like Leah just conducted this exercise about identifying the actions on the agencies, but to get really very concrete to see who's doing what around the specific sectors and getting to know across the different agencies and counties and organizations who has been active in this area and the kinds of actions that people are doing. So we began these kinds of working documents, these spreadsheet maps, where we are having input from the different participants to help to identify what is going on. And that one idea of that is that there will be an internal document that can be of use for people to coordinate more the action across the different actors in the state, but then also there'll be a public-facing element of this when we put together this climate action pathway to really show the public about who is enacting the different climate programs and projects and policies. There's also this importance of identifying what the state can do to support the actions, especially taking place at the county. So we're trying to identify the gaps. So when we talk to the counties and they say that there's some things that they cannot do at the level of the county, they need some kind of policy coordination at the level of the state. We're trying to identify those too, to see how we can support all these various actions that are happening at county level and include that in this action pathway. We also found this importance of coordinating between actors for impact for the use of scarce resources. I think this was a good example of something that the Commission was involved in, especially in the priority climate action plan, submitting the grant, where the state agencies had a key role in bringing together different actors to coordinate that. So we see this role that the state could have in, especially in engaging and mediating with the federal government to coordinate more complex grants and project applications. And also there, this role of sharing good examples that are impactful elsewhere in the country, that can also be potentially replicated in different parts of the state. So yeah, I think those are the key takeaways so far. And just the last ones, if you can go to the next slide. So we have a few other working groups that are, some of them we've been more working groups, other more kind of conversations or setting up meetings with key people, but these are the other sectors that are going to find a way into the climate action pathway too. So there's a section looking at alternative fuels, the incineration of waste, agricultural, forestry, other land uses, accounting. So how do we account for the carbon sequestration and more general carbon accounting across the state? There's a clean ground transportation working group and also a wastewater one. And so just to say too that these are all these conversations ongoing, but as part of the climate action pathway, we're also obviously using some of the work that was done before and key reports like the decarbonization strategy by HSCO and other documents that will also inform some research work that has happened in the past. And so, yeah, I think I'll pass it on to Bill now to share a bit about the outreach.
Come on up here, Bill, so everyone can see you. And take one of these chairs.
All right, you guys, thank you very much. Thank you, Udi. We've partnered with all the counties, obviously, as part of our actions. So I'm just going to kind of go over real briefly what our climate outreach strategy is that we've put together in partnering with the counties. So our community outreach and engagement strategy goes beyond merely acknowledging vulnerabilities. It is rooted in ensuring that every community, particularly those confronting heightened vulnerabilities, takes a central role in shaping the CAP, recognizing and amplifying the perspectives and experiences of those directly affected is a fundamental and necessary step in crafting effective and inclusive strategies to address the multifaceted challenges posed by climate change. So along with that, we have a vision and purpose to develop and execute an inclusive outreach and engagement strategy that creates long-lasting connections and empowers stakeholders and communities to participate in climate action while fostering community involvement that prioritizes equity, environmental justice, and active engagement with a focus on Native Hawaiians, minorities, low and middle income, and historically marginalized communities. We aim to identify and address community concerns by developing climate actions that integrate community-based ideas and projects. Central to our purpose is the co-development of the State Climate Action Pathway, or CAP, through mutual collaboration, respect, and continuous community involvement. So on the slide there, you can see some of the data that we have done. CCMAC has attended over 40 outreach events and facilitated over 2,000 interactions with residents on Kauai, Hawaii Island, Maui, Molokai, and Oahu. We've hosted 2 community climate fairs, one on Oahu and one on Kauai, to connect community members with organizations working in sustainability, clean energy, and Aina restoration. We also have social media, both Instagram and Facebook. It continues to grow, reaching over 1,600 followers. We also have received over 250 comments for our CAP from the community. And we have continued outreach to the community through a monthly newsletter sent to over 1,200 subscribers statewide. That newsletter should be going out soon for the month of November, so keep an eye out for that. If you're not on that list, please reach out to us so we can make sure you're part of that newsletter as well. And we actually have this event coming up. I know Meg mentioned, as well as Charlotte mentioned a little while ago, on Saturday, November 16th, we have CCMAC is hosting a Hawaii Youth Climate Summit at the state capitol. We've partnered with Climate Future Forum, and it's the premier youth event. You were mentioning that earlier about working with youth. So this is really a great opportunity for youth to work with lawmakers, legislatures, things like that, on climate initiatives that they're interested in, as well as interact with various partner organizations. So that information is going to be in our newsletter. And if you want to receive an email directly from me, just let us know. I can email you directly on that information. But we have reached out to all of the representatives and senators and emailed everyone. We're trying to get the word out as much as possible to get as much youth participation as possible in this event. We also have another event coming up on Friday, November 2nd. That will be at the Doris Duke Theater. One of the other things we do is we've partnered with.
When is it? December 7th?
Friday, November 22nd.
You said November 2nd.
November 22nd.
We're all paying
I missed a
attention.
2 on there, didn't I?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling me out. So it's Friday, November 22nd, and it is called Vanishing Voices. It's a really beautiful film. It's going to be free to the community. It's one of our things that we sponsor, and it's about saving our native forest birds. So it's going to be at Doris Duke Theater, and the link's already on the Eventbrite, but it's also on our calendar of events page where people can go and sign up for free. So thank you guys so much. Any questions at all?
Bill, has the plaintiffs from Navahini been invited to the Hawaii Youth Climate
Yes.
Summit? Great.
They will be
great, very good.
participating. Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you so much. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, Amy?
Define the youth.
How did we find them?
Yeah, no, how are you defining youth? Like, is
Oh.
it high school through
So there's-
college or?
Yeah, it's basically, well, K through 26. So our youth summit portion from like noon to 2:30 or 3 is gonna be open to families with younger kids. And in the morning, we have a section that's gonna be from 14 to 26, ages 14 to 26, that are working with lawmakers and stuff, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
there's
Saturday.
been a few challenges having at the state capitol. We've been working through it, powering through it, and it's, but we're excited about it. So if you guys can help us get the word out, we would greatly appreciate it.
Great.
And Nancy would like to be in touch with you, Bill. So I think Jonathan has her contact information, can get
Okay.
that to you.
Great.
She'd like to share that with the Wahoo Homestead Association.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Homes. Okay, great. All right, thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much.
Mahalo, Nancy. Any questions for Udi on how the pathways is coming along? Okay, we just wanted to give you folks an update, so you know that it's continually happening, just timeline wise. We are hoping to have a draft done, sometime in the spring and have kind of like a final draft done, kind of in the summer, so we can have a lot of time for continued outreach and feedback from community. We're really hoping to take those 250, comments that we've received and really incorporate that into the plan and help us to guide where we're focusing our attentions in the pathways as well.
Great. Any questions to Leah, Udi, or Bill? Okay. Seeing none, let's go on to agenda. Thank you very much to your team for all the hard work. And thank you for the outreach. I think that's really critical to the success of climate actions. So let's go on to our final agenda item 8, coordinators update.
Me again. Hello, everyone. I feel like I've been talking a lot this meeting. Really, I don't have a huge amount of updates for you folks. I would like us to start thinking about how we want to continue the meetings during the year of climate action. So I hadn't necessarily come prepared with any recommendations, but we have our next meeting at the beginning of December. So I thought that might be a good opportunity for us to think through how we want to meet during the legislative session and, start planning ahead for that. I also wanted to, is Jen still on? Yeah, just ask Jen to share a couple of grant updates for us.
Yeah, I'm very happy to announce that working with Nancy at DHHL, Jonathan and I were able to help them get a Energy Transition Initiative Partnership project funded. So that's the ETIP program. And they'll be working with a Maui community, Ka'ohana o Kahiki Nui. I knew I was going to mess it up, so I did. And they're going to be looking at renewable energy microgrid projects. So they'll get technical support for that, as well as $50,000 to help move those projects forward. And I'm working with Nancy to identify some other funding opportunities along those lines, a little bit bigger chunks of change. So hopefully we can move those forward. And we have had 18 different groups submit to our Grants to Project Bridge, and we're helping them with a variety of funding opportunities on that. Was there anything I missed, Leah?
No, that's perfect. I also just wanted to highlight that we still have our Grants to Projects Bridge going. So if you know any community organizations that are looking for any kind of support, funding, technical assistance, what have you, please direct them towards the Grants to Projects Bridge and Jen, because she's just been doing a really great job in connecting folks and identifying resources for them. I think I've been throwing a lot of things towards her. It's been great, Mahalo, Jen.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then other than that, I had the opportunity to travel to Portland, Maine recently to engage with the U.S. Climate Alliance meeting. That's with all of the, and this seems very pertinent today. It's the U.S. Climate Alliance was started in the start of the last Trump presidency to declare that we're still in with the Paris agreements and we'll still be addressing climate change and meeting our climate goals. So there was a lot of discussion about what would happen with the electoral outcome. And so it's just really, really amazing to be able to be here in this space with all of you and to have been in that space with all of them, to know all of the amazing work that's happening. I think we're going to be able to work together to continue to reach our goals and continue to stay inspired and positive and motivated, knowing that we're all doing this together. So mahalo to all of you.
Great. Thank you so much, Leah. Mary Alice, you have any final comments?
No, thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else on Zoom have any final comments, questions? If not, our next meeting is scheduled for
December 4th.
December 4th. December 4th from 1 to starting at 1 o'clock.
Starting at 1 o'clock, we typically end before 3.
Yeah, that's great. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to adjourn the meeting. I greatly appreciate all of you who have joined us, made a quorum, and your participation. Mahalo.